Hi, I'm Carl Pearson, and this is a video about the pardon that is to be expected for Michael Flynn. I'm a Harvard lawyer, and I was the candidate, or tried to become the candidate, for New York Attorney General 5 times. I came in third one time. I recognized and publicized in 2010 that the New York Attorney General is the second, or possibly the most powerful elected official in the United States. And this background makes me quite interested in the President's efforts to get Michael Thomas Flynn, his former national security advisor, out of his twice-admitted criminal convictions. Michael Thomas Flynn, a former lieutenant general, was the President's first national security advisor, and that was for only 22 days, and had admittedly lied to Vice President Pence shortly after Inauguration Day in 2017. This lie was known to the Russians and made Flynn vulnerable to blackmail and coercion by the Russians. As a result, Trump fired Flynn, and Flynn was prosecuted. Along the way, it became clear to both Flynn and Trump that if Trump protected Flynn and Flynn's son Michael G. Flynn, then Flynn would not reveal secrets about Trump's dealings with Russia and Turkey that Trump did not want revealed. Flynn, directly or through his Flynn Intel Group, had more than $1 million of unreported income with criminal and tax liability. Also, Flynn's son had exposure for some of these same things. That is the background, and it's not intended to convince you whether Flynn or his son are criminally guilty or not, or whether they are liable for a civil monetary judgment or not. I've tried to remain neutral and stick to the well-known facts. That Flynn pleaded guilty 2 times. After Barr became Attorney General, Barr made a motion before District Court Judge Emmett G. Sullivan in the District of Columbia to have the criminal proceedings against Michael Thomas Flynn dismissed. Sullivan not having ruled on the motion, Barr went to the Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia, and on Wednesday, June 24th this year, obtained an order written by Trump appointee Naomi Rao, that's Neomirao, in a 2-to-1 decision, with one dissenting judge, directing Judge Sullivan to dismiss the criminal proceeding against Flynn. Judge Sullivan has not acted and normally would have 10 days in which to do something before the court issues a mandate to comply with that order. This video is to explain why there is nothing that President Trump and Attorney General Barr can do to protect Flynn and his son from a criminal conviction and a loss of all their accumulated wealth. There are 2 parts to this analysis. First part, and this is on the possibility that the District Court of Appeals, the D.C. Appellate Court, that is, in its 2-to-1 Rao order, may be overruled or bypassed in some way. So number 1, the full court by a 6-to-5 order could reverse this Rao decision. They could do this either sua sponte, meaning by itself without any motion by Judge Sullivan, or could do this in response to a motion by Judge Sullivan for en banc reconsideration of that 2-to-1 decision. Number 2, the Rao order did not say with prejudice, and the lower court Judge Sullivan could still preside over a criminal prosecution as to crimes not covered by the dismissal. And of course, all crimes are still prosecutable against Flynn's son in any appropriate federal district court who was not involved as a defendant in the criminal proceeding against his father. Now the second part. Let's assume that Trump is forced to grant a pardon to Flynn and his son because of what may be inconclusive results as to the criminal proceedings before Judge Sullivan. Or let's assume a federal criminal conviction is obtained and President Trump grants a pardon to Flynn and his son. 3. A pardon would not protect them from federal civil liability for failing to report to the IRS the $1 million in fees and other payments that Flynn and his son received as alleged unreported income over the years. 4. Also, a pardon would not have any effect on criminal and civil liability under state law. Any state in which Flynn or his son or Flynn Intel Group had failed to report income would be able to start criminal proceedings and civil actions for recovery of unpaid taxes with huge amounts of penalties and interest, even if Trump grants a pardon to Flynn and his son. A federal pardon is only as to federal crimes. In summary, Trump doesn't want to grant pardons to his friends, lawyers, and associates before the election in November 2020, and knows that even if he grants a pardon, it will only have a limited effect. Trump can't save Michael Flynn and son and Flynn Intel Group from state criminal proceedings or from federal or state civil liability. Well, I've said what I wanted to say, and I'll be back soon with my next video.